There's a very good reason why Thailand doesn't take Halloween that seriously, because they don't need it. They've got a very healthy superstition already ingrained regarding the supernatural. And some of the stories and the legends surrounding Halloween can't touch that. I mean, Michael Myers wouldn't last 5 minutes against any of the ghosts and demons that I've read about. Witches flying on broomsticks? Not scientifically possible, I'm afraid. A broomstick can't hold the weight of a woman. Speaking of women, the first witch to be tried and put in jail in France in the 15th century was actually a bloke. People often get carried away with superstition or what they think they know or have heard. This canal, there's a lady further down here who feeds the local stray cats twice a day without fail. And I remember I was taking a guy on a walking tour along here, and I told him, I said, yeah, there's a woman down here, she feeds the cats twice a day. And he said, oh, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? What, is she a witch? And I thought to myself, brainwashed or what? So I went past the lady's house who feeds the cats. She was there, but I didn't want to disturb her. There were a few cats hanging around outside. And the reason why I come down this canal really is because it leads to a place that has some proper supernatural scary stories. It's Wat Don cemetery, and to be honest, it's a little bit late now. It's almost 9 p.m, so we'll come back tomorrow just as it's getting dark. These are the kinds of places where horror stories are born, and as soon as you walk into Wat Don cemetery, it's pretty obvious why. You're surrounded by thousands of abandoned graves with bodies still in them. Wat Don cemetery was a Thai Chinese Christian cemetery that closed 30 years ago after reaching full capacity. After it closed, the city council banned all burials within the centre of Bangkok. A lot of family or next of kin then moved their dead relatives and buried them elsewhere. But there are still thousands of abandoned graves with bodies still remaining here. Part of this cemetery was managed by the Potek Tung Foundation. These are the people who drive around to the scenes of accidents and emergencies and pick up the bodies. In most cases, these bodies get claimed by family and they're given a proper burial. But in some cases, if the bodies are badly mangled, or if they're picking up a body that's been dead for years, then maybe no one will claim it. And they get buried in places like this, in unmarked graves. And it's the restless spirits of these people that are creating these stories, so the locals say. There are stories of people jogging who've said that they felt like someone was running alongside them, which could be useful because if that was me, it'd make me run a mile, which is the idea, right? People say that they sat down on a bench to take a breather and they felt like someone was sitting next to them. Even people who say they drove past in their cars said they felt like someone was behind them in the seat, and when they looked there was no one there. Taxi drivers apparently won't come within a mile of this place. And locals also talk of hearing screams at the same time every night, wailing, and figures lit up wandering around the graveyard can be seen at night apparently. Anyway, I'm not sure if they're true or not, but superstition regarding the supernatural is rife in Thailand, as you know, and it draws people like me here to try and pick up a few vibes. I've come to Wat Mahaput here in On Nut. It's alongside the Phra Khanong canal, and it's the scene of the legend of Mae Nak, Phra Khanong, one of Thailand's most famous ghost stories. It's been made into several movies, TV series, stage plays, and this took place towards the end of the 18th century. So Mae Nak was a local rice farmer originally from Ayutthaya. She met her husband Mark, who was from nearby Bangkok. They got married, she became pregnant. He had to leave to fight in the war, but during childbirth she died, and her spirit couldn't rest because she missed Mark so much. So she went back to the house to wait for Mark to return from the war. He was severely injured, and after he recovered, he came back home and saw his wife and child there. He thought nothing was wrong. But the villagers tried to warn him that she in fact was a ghost. And one day, Mark saw Nak chopping lemons. She dropped one of the lemons down on the floor below. Her arm extended like some kind of alien snake down to the floor level. This freaked Mark out, and he suddenly believed what the villagers had been telling him all along, that she was in fact an evil spirit, a ghost who had no good intentions at all. So after that, it becomes a story of revenge and evil, and in the end she was exorcised and her remains buried here at Wat Mahaput, still to this day. And people still come here on a daily basis to pray and make offerings to the shrine of Mae Nak, Phra Khanong. Women pray for a peaceful, pain-free childbirth. Men come here and they pray that they're not going to be conscripted into the military. You can also buy lottery tickets here. People buy them in the hope that the spirit of Mae Nak, Phra Khanong will offer them some good fortune. So all that Halloween mumbo jumbo, it can't touch the ingrained superstition towards the supernatural. Happy Halloween.